Tyler was halfway through his math homework when the windows started to shake. Looking outside, he froze at the sight of 3 black SUVs and a military Humvee pulling into his driveway. His mom peeked through the blinds. "Tyler, there are men in uniform outside." Moments later, a decorated officer stood on their porch. No press, no cameras, just a quiet knock. He removed his hat and spoke gently. "Ma'am, your son may have saved a man's life today. Not just any man. Master Sergeant William Harris, Medal of Honor recipient." Tyler's eyes widened. "Wait, Mr. Harris, the janitor?" The officer nodded. "He's a lot more than that." Tyler Bennett was 14. Quiet, polite, always helping someone. He wasn't popular, kids called him teacher's pet, but he didn't mind. Raised by a single mother who worked 2 jobs, he learned early. You treat everyone with respect, especially those no one else notices. And so he did. He held doors open, thanked the lunch ladies, and every morning he greeted the school janitor. "Morning, Mr. Harris." A quiet man with tired eyes and a worn-out army jacket. Most kids ignored him. Some laughed behind his back. But Tyler? He always saw him. Mr. Harris was a mystery. He walked with a slight limp, rarely spoke, and wore the same navy blue cap every day with a faded eagle stitched into the front. He swept floors, repaired broken chairs, and vanished before most kids even arrived at school. No one knew his first name. No one asked. But on an ordinary Tuesday morning, Tyler noticed something different. Mr. Harris was hunched in the hallway, struggling with 2 heavy boxes of cleaning supplies. Without hesitation, Tyler stepped in. "Need help with those, sir?" Mr. Harris paused, almost stunned, then nodded. They carried the boxes in silence. As they reached the supply room, Mr. Harris finally spoke. "You remind me of someone I lost. Thank you, son." He pulled out a sticky note, scribbled his name and number, and handed it over. "If you ever need anything, just call." Mr. Harris stared at it for a moment, then folded it and slipped it into his jacket. Later that day, long after the final bell rang, Mr. Harris collapsed in the storage closet. The night custodian found him unconscious, barely breathing. While the school nurse checked his jacket for ID, she found the sticky note. "Tyler Bennett 555-382-0149. Assuming it was an emergency contact, she called. Tyler didn't answer. He was still on the bus. So the nurse called the school principal, who then found an old emergency contact in Mr. Harris's employment file, a government number with a DC area code. She called it too. 20 minutes later, someone called back. Serious voice. Quick questions. Then silence. That evening, as Tyler sat at the kitchen table, the knock came at the door. His mom answered, and her face went pale. A uniformed officer stood there, briefcase in one hand. "Ma'am, we're with the Department of Defense. Your son may have saved the life of Master Sergeant William Harris, a decorated combat veteran and Medal of Honor recipient." Tyler's jaw dropped. "Wait, Mr. Harris, the janitor?" The officer smiled softly. "He doesn't talk about it, never wanted attention, but he kept your son's phone number in his jacket, said it reminded him that people still care, that he wasn't invisible." Tyler's mom blinked, confused. "You mean just for helping him carry boxes?" The officer shook his head gently. "No, ma'am, it's more than that. Your son gave him something he hadn't had in years, human connection. When he collapsed, the nurse found your son's number in his pocket and called. When there was no answer, the school checked his records and found a backup emergency contact, a government number tied to his military file. That number flagged his Medal of Honor status. That's how we found out. For someone like Harris, we show up." He handed Tyler a black case. Inside was a military challenge coin engraved on the back. "To those who see what others ignore." The next morning, the school held a quiet assembly. The lights dimmed. A black and white photo appeared on screen. A young soldier standing in front of a helicopter, arms crossed, medals on his chest. The principal began. Served 22 years in the U.S. Army. He saved 12 men during Operation Desert Storm. Received the Medal of Honor. Then vanished from the spotlight. Slide after slide revealed a life no one had imagined. After losing his wife, he chose solitude not out of pride but pain. He'd seen too much, lost too much. He wasn't afraid of being alone. He was afraid no one would ever look him in the eyes again. Tyler's gesture wasn't just help. It was the first time in years someone treated him like he still mattered. The next day, Tyler took the city bus to the hospital, room 214. He stood at the doorway, unsure, then stepped in quietly. Mr. Harris was awake, staring out the window. "Hey, I just wanted to check in." Harris turned and smiled, really smiled for the first time. "Didn't think you'd come," he said, "but I hoped you would." They talked, not about war, not about medals, just life, fishing, music, the daughter Harris had lost, the silence he'd lived with ever since. Tyler didn't say much, he just listened. Before leaving, he handed Mr. Harris a folded piece of paper. "What's this?" Harris asked. "My history essay. I titled it The Hero in the Hallway." Mr. Harris held it like it was made of glass. "Can I keep it? It's yours." 2 weeks later, Mr. Harris returned to work. No announcement, no press, but everything had changed. Students nodded at him, teachers brought him coffee, and Tyler walked beside him like it was the most normal thing in the world. At the end of year assembly, the principal made a surprise announcement. "Today, we honor something more important than grades: compassion, humility, and the courage to see the people we often overlook." He called Tyler to the stage, then Mr. Harris. This young man didn't know who Mr. Harris was, but he saw him, and sometimes that's all it takes to save a life. Mr. Harris took the mic, voice steady. "I've carried men off battlefields. I've been saluted by generals, but no one ever made me feel seen like this boy did. Heroes don't always wear medals. Some carry mops. Some walk with limps. Some wait quietly, hoping someone still sees them. And sometimes, all it takes is a sticky note, a smile, and someone who cares enough to say, 'Call me if you need anything.'"